in one of my happy places, and of course it has to do with flowers and plants. I'm here with my friend Chris. Chris, introduce yourself.
Oh, Chris Balabon, A Date with Iris.
Yes, so on my social media channels, I have often referenced A Date with Iris, which is just so wonderfully coincidental for me that you're just right up the street.
Within walking distance.
Within walking distance, and I walk here often just to see what kind of pretty she has. Obviously, she has all sorts of gorgeous blooms and things, but you also carry some gift items. And most importantly, you guys, always come up here during the holidays, whatever holiday it is, because she has the best store window displays ever.
Thank you.
It is just such a fun and festive thing to do and come in. And she also has, you sometimes have jewelry shows and things like that.
We did a lot of that in the past, and we're going to work up to that again.
Work up to that again
after COVID stuff. But lots of holidays, lots of weird displays,
and it's
the
not
funkier the better.
And it's not just a flower shop; it's kind of a gathering place, because sometimes you'll have food trucks out there. You'll have just all sorts of things. So it's a real neighborhood. It's got a real neighborhood kind of vibe. So we are here today, you guys. I'm finally. My son and daughter-in-law are getting married in Colorado at the end of July. I've been telling you about this.
That'll be wonderful.
Over and over again. And
cool.
And yes, and cool. Well, hopefully Colorado will cool down by then.
Oh, God, yeah. Hopefully.
Yeah, we hope so. But tomorrow at the Bradford house here again, happily just
Walking
right up the
distance.
street. It's a wonderful bed and breakfast, a great new place that has a really fabulous contemporary vibe to it. But we're having a shower there tomorrow. So what I love about working with Chris is she's so flexible. So I brought some of my own vases for her to use. She's going to use some things from my own garden, because I want to use lots of herbs and kind of edibles and things like that. So we've got some dill flowers, dill seed heads, and some oregano blooms, and some mint from my garden. We've got some really fun, look at this over here. What are these, Chris?
It's radish seed pods. My radishes have bolted. I've left them in the garden, and they made that marvelous seed pod.
Yeah, and I just love that kind of, it's almost an apple green.
It is.
But I think it's so fun, and it gives lots of texture. And then we've got lots of parsley flower heads. And then what we're gonna do is supplement that with just some beauties from here. So we've got, do you know which variety of allium this is?
We've been calling that bullet
Okay.
allium. Yeah.
Bullet
It's
allium.
allium season.
Okay.
This is Siculum, I think is what it's called. Siculum?
They're alliums, just a wild and wonderful world of whimsical flowers.
It's wonderful. It's wonderful. And there's so many varieties of them, and we just love it this time of year.
And the thing about Chris's arrangements too is you can kind of give her an aesthetic and she can replicate it. So when I say I want it to look gardeny, I want it to look like it's fresh from my garden, from my potager or whatever, then obviously she can do that pretty easily. So we are using the muse, I told her, are the colors that are used in the Bradford house, which is kind of a deep, rich, pinky, lilac-y. You'll see it tomorrow because
saturated color.
It's
for
really
sure.
saturated
Lots
color.
Of beautiful, beautiful color.
In the cushions and in the seating, but also in the woodwork, lots of green. So that's kind of my muse, and we're going to try to echo some of those colors in the flower arrangement. And I just want it to look gardeny and fresh picked, very kind of Constant Spry, a little bit wild.
I would say a little bit Linda Vater.
A little bit Linda Vater, a little bit wild. And so what we're going to do is one large arrangement for the main table, and then Chris always tells me if you've got a long table where there's going to be lots of people sitting at it, we want to keep these arrangements kind of low.
And I like several vases on the long table. I think is prettier than trying to do just one big one.
And it's also kind of fun when at the end you want somebody, different people to be able to
take them home. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So is it A lot of times you'll see them all the same. I didn't have all 4 the same, so I brought these. Do you think that'll look okay?
I think it'll be beautiful.
Okay, so let's get started. I'm going to kind of turn this over to you now, because what we want to talk a little bit is about best practices.
Sure.
Conditioning, when to cut flowers, any kind of magic tricks you have. I try not to use Oasis in most of my arrangements, so Chris will kind of show us.
Well, here's Oasis if you want to.
Yes, that is what Oasis is. But Chris can kind of show us some of her tips and tricks.
And it just, you can cut it in any sort of shape.
Yeah. But we're going to try not to use it in these, so I want it to be really garnish. Okay, so take it away. Let's first talk about.
I don't even think you would need to put anything in here. If anything, I would put some poultry netting if you wanted to do a grid, and I could cut some if you would like to do it that way.
I love this about you. I so love this about you. Poultry netting, for those of us that are a little more pedestrian, would be chicken wire.
You're right.
So, but I love poultry netting, and yes, so talk about that a little bit.
If you use a poultry net, chicken wire, it just gives you a grid, and you can get your stems more exactly, if that's the right term, where you want to go. A looser, open area like this, your stems go where they want to. And sometimes people have a tendency to really want it to go one way. So that's when you do the netting or the taping or the Oasis. In a vessel like this, it just, I listen to the flower. Where it wants to go, that's where it goes.
Oh, see, I love that. So you work with a natural arch of a balloon.
And how it goes,
And you've told me before, because you want the arrangement to have movement, and I think that's what makes it look gardeny. I like to create an arrangement that almost looks as if there's a bee flying over it, even though there's not really. So okay, so let's talk a little bit about watering and water preparation and your thoughts on flower food and that.
We do not use flower food here. I use it sometimes in my processing, but we just say clean water is the best. No foliage under the water line. Get that. Nothing should be in the water other than the stem that's clean. Clean of foliage, I mean, you know.
And it's especially noticeable. What always happens to me is if I'm not pretty fastidious about that, then I'll find that foliage will rot underwater, and then it dries on the side of the container, and then you have to get a hammer and chisel to get it off on your delicate vase. So
you don't want to do that. Yes. And if anybody has ever smelled dirty vase water with foliage, it'll make your hair stand up, I tell you.
It is not a charming thing.
No, beautiful now, scary later.
Yeah, a little scary later, and we've all smelled it, so don't. You know, the reason we know what it smells like is because we have done it on multiple occasions.
Cleaned many a bucket.
So I first want to go through my process of how I cut my flowers, and you can tell me what I'm doing right or wrong, and how I might make some adjustments to make it a little bit more efficient or not. So let me start out with, this is my bucket that I brought from my garden this morning. And so I always cut in the morning.
Yes, when it's cool.
When it's cool. What about your thoughts on cutting in the evening if you can't cut in the morning?
I think you could do it if you were wanting something just for your home or just for that evening. I think if you keep it cool, I think that's the most important part, is to, once you cut it, condition it in some nice cool water to where it drinks and it'll stand up, and try to keep it as cool as possible.
Okay, but
the heat is just...
Yeah, it'll brutalize them, especially. So for any that you get, because what I also love about you is most of these things that we're going to use today come from a local cut flower farm. And especially if you're in a commercial setting or in a business setting, then you want to cut in the morning, because you know they'll remain the freshest. Okay, so then what I typically do is I bring my flower bucket out there that has water in it. While I'm out there, I will just, I'll strip some stems, or I'll strip some leaves off of it, but I'm not real fastidious about it. And then I just stick it in the water.
Perfect, yes.
Is that okay? Then I bring it in and I let it just sit for a while, making sure that the water is pretty high in the container. Let it sit for a while, and then later.
Ooh, that mint smells good.
Doesn't it smell? I know, doesn't it smell good? Well, that's the other thing. I wanted these to be kind of sensual.
Oh,
I really wanted them to. I just stuck that up my nose. Did you see that? Don't do this. Don't try this at home.
That's one thing about being a florist. We'll stick anything up our noses.
If you're gonna do it with a mint leaf. So then I bring them in, and then later that day, if I'm real, and I'll be honest, I don't do this every time, but when I'm on my game, especially if I'm doing something for a holiday, for Thanksgiving or whatever, then I will take them out and I will cut them again underwater. This time I'll really make sure that I remove any foliage. And then usually, because I want to enjoy the practice and the artistry, the fun of composition, then I'll usually wait and do that the next day after they've had a chance to hydrate. But I don't really typically put any conditioner or anything in the water. It is cool water.
I do cool water, yes.
Okay. So is there anything I am not doing right, or is there anything I could do more efficiently?
No, I like the whole meditative process of going out there and cutting it. You want to let them drink the water so that they'll stand up straight. A lot of times for tulips, for example, if you cut them and leave them out, if they're like this, and then they drink, they get hard, they'll stay like this. So a lot of stems, when we cut them, we want to try to keep them as upright as possible. So when they do drink, they get hard like this.
Okay, so then they will stand up and fly right. So what, do you do something to support them while they're doing that, or?
We, in tulips, we keep them in their, like their outer
wrapping?
package, their outer wrapping. I don't really care for Gerber Daisies, but Gerber's is one. Some things you can put a little hollow straw on. But yeah, it's amazing that if a flower, you cut it and it drinks, how it is held, that's how it will gets hard.
And actually, it becomes turgid again because the stem really kind of does try to stand up and fly right. But this one, I really want to have movement, so I don't care that these guys are arching.
No.
But I want to consult the genius of whatever it is I have cut. So so we're going to do that. So I've cut a bunch of things. This is what I mostly want to know. Okay, here's mostly what I want to know. I want to know, and this is the most vexing, I think confusing thing for me. I never know what to put in first that will be good infrastructure for what comes next.
I like my big stems, my big fatties. I would start with my hydrangea.
Okay, so these are some, this is Incredible Blush or whatever, and this is kind of the color of Bradford House, I think.
It is. It is.
Yeah, kind of with much more intensity. But this is like a hint, a whisper of the intensity of the color there. Okay, so can I be your Sioux florist?
Yeah. Or I can give you tools and I can be your Sioux florist.
Well, no, I'm going to let you do this because I need to. Far be it from me.
Okay, now with hydrangeas, I've always cut above the node. Do you do that?
Oh, well, I think, did I just do that? I don't know.
You did it instinctively.
I did it instinctively?
A lot of flowers, if they have little, let me get my glasses on, little junctures like this, carnations, for example, we always try to cut above it because that's like a little line. So when it's drinking, that kind of clogs more. So we try to give it open to where it can start drinking faster.
This would be kind of an impediment to water uptake. So we're going to do this. Now let me ask you this. What if I cut this and it's hollow on the inside? I always worry about that. Should I then have cut that underwater?
I'm thinking yes. I was just told by Tessa Linville Sabu, she always cuts her dahlias underwater, and they have a hollow stem, so it starts drinking immediately. I think that's the thing about to cut or not to cut underwater. This stem will dry out, so the longer it is out of water, the harder it is for it to drink.
Because it almost scars, and then it can't. So when in doubt, cut underwater.
That would probably be it. And then also, I've got this quick dip. I don't know if you're a chemical girl.
Tell me about this.
I'm half in, half out on that.
Okay.
It is called quick dip. It is a solution, and it's just clear.
Okay.
That when you put your stem in, especially roses,
okay.
and roses kind of look the same thing to me as hydrangea, that white. It's almost like, dare I say, a nasal spray for the flower. It just opens it up.
Wow.
Yeah. So when you talk to the wholesalers about it, of course they're like, you need this stuff.
Uh-huh.
I'm half and half. I'm half and half. But I have seen things kind of come back, especially roses, from the brink of disaster. They'll come back.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
So let's say that you're doing a really expensive or a really statement-making
quick dip.
arrangement, then you're going to
quick dip.
You quick dip.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it's maybe like superstition. I'm not really sure, but I'll do it anyway.
Do we know, is this something that's just available to you in the trade, or do you know if we could find it?
You probably can find it anywhere now. It's that Oasis, Smith Oasis, and so
if it's available on Amazon, I'll put a link below.
Yeah.
Okay. So,
but I don't know if you can get smaller bottles. Yeah, because
containers.
That'll last a long time.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But you are a florist, so you know, unlike.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah, you are a florist. So I hope. Yeah. Okay. So you started. What is this stuff?
Well, that's really kind of for the end. It's it's crowning glory. It's like a Mountain Dew, a moisturizer for the flowers, because so many things drink from their petals as well.
Yes.
Hydrangeas is a perfect example of that.
So like a topical moisturizer.
Just a little bit right here.
Topical moisturizer for the plant. Okay. So now let's get to the nitty gritty. Now that we have done our conditioning and our prep work, now let's get to the. And I love she's so instinctively neat. Can I just say that?
I'm like, don't put your shit on the table.
I know that's the difference. That's the difference between you and me, because when I arrange flowers in my kitchen, it is so chaotic. I'm so not good about that.
I've thrown away so many tools before by sweeping things. Well, not me, other people. But yeah, sweeping it into the trash can.
Okay, I resolve to
it looks
be
better.
It does look better
when you have a clean tip.
Okay, now this is another thing that I usually just use these. Do I need these? One of this floral knives?
I don't think you have to cut everything with a floral knife. It's so easy to keep in your back pocket and work with.
Yeah.
It does make a clean cut on a lot of things.
Me. Honestly, it intimidates me a little bit.
It's really good for like callas and tulips and
roses.
Roses are a little bit thicker, so I use that. But like let's see what we have here. Any sort of little stem. It's just just like cutting using a.
Well, maybe that's where I've been wrong all of these years, because I was thinking it was better for.
That just snaps.
Yeah. I was thinking it was better for hard-stemmed things.
Well, sorry. Thank you, Linda.
Okay. Even though you did almost gouge me in the process.
It works for hard stem things. It's just, and you just get more of a surface area, I think.
Yeah. And that's why we do things on an angle, is to get more of a surface area for
quick dip.
Oh, this is why I like to come up here. Okay, so you tell me, what do you want next? Okay, I don't want roses in this though, because that's not gardening enough.
Get out of here.
So, okay, so now what do we, do you want another one of these? What are we going to do?
Let's get your dill out.
Okay. Now let's get this one, because he's standing up and flying right.
I mean, honestly, this is beautiful like it is. You could just plunk it in here.
And you know, sometimes when I'm really lazy, I don't do anything with it, because it does look
artfully unarranged. Is what we like to say.
Casually unarranged, yes.
Yes, but intuitive as well. Like you just like, went out there.
Yeah, I just went out there and just, yes. And I wasn't sweating.
Right, I look this good every day and can make these arrangements like that.
Yes, I was glistening. Okay, here, I love this. I want to keep that. Can I keep that, its integrity altogether, because I love it? And then, of course, stuff like this, you guys, I would never waste good dill clippings like this.
Ever.
You're
going to put them in your salad?
Yeah, this would be over in a special pile. No, definitely. That's a fish thing. So we'll put that.
Well, here, I'm going to put this on this tray right here for you.
Okay. And by the way, you guys, the reason that I'm doing this is we talked about lower, smaller, so people can talk across the table, but bigger, more flamboyant for, I think this is going to be like where the guest book is and check-in and stuff like that. So do we want more of that?
Yeah. Are we using this for all of here? Are you going to have to cut me some more?
Yeah, I might have to cut you some more. But these will just need little bits, just a representation. So, you know what? I'm just going to put this here and let you go for it.
Oh, okay.
So some of the things that I brought her mint, because I just love it. And you know, this is a way to keep your mint from really
taking over your garden.
Yes, taking over your garden. And plus, I do love it, you know? And I love it because it's got a good strong stem. So I brought
what kind of mint is it?
Some mint. I don't know. Okay, this is interesting. Last year, one of the projects Stuart and I worked with was the National Wildlife Federation, and we planted a Mojito Garden.
Oh, that's cool.
And we did a
how does the rum grow?
Video for them. Yeah, the rum doesn't grow, but it grew on us, let me tell you. But we made some wonderful mojitos, and this was part of the package that they sent.
Oh, okay.
To do a mojito garden. So I brought some mint.
I was just going to show you another mint that we get locally is mountain mint.
Oh, okay. We've got to have some of that,
okay.
Especially because that speaks to Colorado.
Oh yeah. I don't know if you can make a drink out of this though.
Well, that's okay. We'll give it a pass because I love things in my arrangements that tell a story.
Yeah.
And I can say this is mountain mint, and I think what it does is then it just really accentuates the pleasure that you get out of a beautiful flower arrangement. It's not just visual.
You're right, it tells a story.
Yes, it tells a story. So some other things, and I don't know if this is appropriate or not, but I'm big time into scented geraniums. And so I brought some scented geraniums.
Yeah.
I had some oregano. Stuart, if you don't mind doing some close-ups on some of these flowers, I had a few of my flowers, my oregano, that had gone to seed. So I'm noticing that you're kind of putting in the stiff-stemmed stuff first, and then I don't really know. I brought some golden feverfew, but I don't know if it's the vibe or not. You have to.
I love this stuff. It's difficult sometimes to work with because it gets so tangled too, but I just think it's so pretty.
So typically, when I
this is something
use
I'm gonna put in last.
And how I like to use feverfew is I like to use it by itself in nothing but a sweet arrangement in a pitcher in my kitchen, because I think that kind of prevents the problem. You're right. It does get tangly, and that's probably why I don't use it a lot.
There are some things that work. It has to be by itself. A whole bunch in one vase.
Yes, I would agree.
I'm not saying baby's breath is a favorite, but that's an example. It's another thing that gets kind of tangled. Arieostomen is another one. Arieostomen, is that what you call it?
You can say that pretty easily, but I don't. What is that?
Or maybe I'm thinking agrostema, another outdoor thing with lots of little blooms, but it gets tangled, but in a big.
But I
swaying in the breeze is
also think when you have clustered plants like this, or like baby's breath, or even broomweed, things like that, I think that it makes them special by being by themselves in just big kind of cloudy clusters.
Yeah.
Boy, we are
cloudy clusters. I love it.
Alliteration. I know we are into alliteration today.
What did you call that? Flowering broom? Is that Janae?
I don't know what it is. That's just what my mom always called it, was broomweed.
Broomweed. Okay, we get a flowering broom and they call it Genestra, but I don't like that word. Janae is what we call it, which is French for broom.
Well, I love the way it looks in the fall. It's very Southwest to me.
It's beautiful.
I just think it's really beautiful, and it's something that's a roadside pick. Okay,
we call that roadsidea because it sounds more botanical that way.
I like that. Okay, now I love this. This isn't edible, but I do love this. It's a Lavender Veronica.
It's beautiful.
It is.
Now, that called Speedwell as well?
Yes, it is. And I'm going to do this because these probably do need to be cut again.
Let me get some water and we can do an example of quick dip and not to quick dip. And
okay.
If that actually, do your own science experiment.
Well, I shot a video this morning, Chris, and one of it was all about gardening mistakes that I make over and over again. And one of them is that I'm not attentive enough to specific cultivars of things. I look at it and I think, oh, that looks really pretty together. And I'm so caught up in the color harmony and the textural harmony that I don't pay enough attention to the scientific part of what was that exact cultivar so I could replicate it again.
Oh, yeah. Well, at my house, we call that just gardening trial and error. If it grows, great. If it doesn't, well, I'll see you later, you know?
And by the way, you never know. No matter how long you know somebody, you always find out something new about them. And I was embarrassed to tell Chris this. You guys saw that I did a video a while back on YouTube and on Instagram up at Bricks. The other place, that's just right up the street from me. That's a little nursery where I bought a bunch of annuals and perennials and things. And I knew Sean at Bricks, and I knew Chris at A Date with Iris. I never put the two of you together as being husband and wife because I just never did, because I had compartmentalized
together,
you.
We're too much for people, that's it. You have to know us separately.
Yeah, and you use separate last names. So anyhow, and I have known you for years, and but it just goes to show there's always something to learn. Good and bad. I could tell you stories.
I'm grabbing your dill.
Okay, you grab my dill.
Sorry.
Yes, grab my dill.
Grab some dill and grab some hydrangea.
Now let's also talk a little bit about, and you know, this is, now don't hit me when I say this.
Hit or hate?
Both.
Okay.
When you want to create a really beautiful arrangement, and let's say that you have a small budget for flowers and it just doesn't go very far, or you have a hard enough time just making it to your local grocery store, much less anyone else, just cut beautiful foliage and things from your garden and find a bouquet of flowers anywhere, whether it's at your grocery store, at your local florist, or whatever.
Or roadsidea.
Or roadsidea. Just pick some beautiful, emphatic blooms that will kind of be the statement flowers, but you don't need a lot of them for the stuff that you have picked from your own garden. Now, speaking of, you brought some of this in too. This is parsley, and look how closely it resembles.
Oh, you grabbed it from, okay, yes.
How closely it resembles the dill.
It also, to me, closely resembles the Dara, which is...
Okay, so this is not Queen Anne's lace, but
it's Dara. They call it, yeah. Is this the ornamental carrot, Amy? Dara?
Yes. Okay, I love that.
And look at this, how it looks like a little fist.
I love that. Okay.
And then I do have Queen Anne's, no, I don't have Queen Anne's lace. I have Green Mist, which is very close to Queen Anne's lace again, and the parsley and the dill. Okay. I'm sure there is a botanical term for multi-flowers on one chunk like that.
Yeah, umbral. It's an umbral.
Okay, it's kind of like an umbrella.
Like it is. And I have a short form of this called Minoan lace that goes to seed every year, and it's much whiter, and it's a little less. It's a little bit more refined, but I kind of like that. Okay,
I will say this holds up better.
It does? Okay.
Yeah, because I think it's thicker. The lacier stuff kind of.
Okay, so let's do that. Let's do that, and let's use some of this parsley.
You got it.
And then I also want your input on knowing, the hardest thing for me is knowing when to stop.
Woo! I'm a more is more girl, so.
It's more is more if I am doing, okay, can I show something?
Did you? Yeah.
Okay. So I am more is more in arrangements like this.
Okay.
Okay.
Right.
I try in some respects to be a little bit less is more on these airy kind of arrangements because I want to show the movement, and I'm huge into negative space right now.
Oh, okay.
And so I kind of want the, you know, the airiness of it.
Gotcha.
Oh yeah, we need to use.
Yeah, I love the fisty ones. Look at that one with the little dog leg.
Yes.
That's
yes. And I also love the fact that this then is a beautiful color echo and textural echo to that. Oh, she wields a knife with great competence. Oh, I love that.
It's because I've been in the floral industry so long. We used to get made fun of if you used clippers, if you couldn't use a knife. I think it was like a...
Really?
Yeah, like you're still on clippers.
They would shame you. They would shame you.
A little bit.
Well, that's
bit.
Not very nice.
But I've also seen people cut themselves pretty
severely. Well, see, that's why I use these.
Yeah, but...
And I bet periodically you, what's the word I want? Antisepticize, disinfect these.
I should probably do better with all that.
Well, in the garden, I definitely do that because I can spread disease. And by the way, as long as I've got you here on camera in a vulnerable position, with clippers in my hand, wouldn't we love to come to your garden and do a garden tour? She was on the Oklahoma Horticultural Society garden tour in 2011.
2014.
2014?
Mm-hmm. I have the brochure to prove it.
Okay. I was, you know why I was thinking 2011? Because that was the year it was just awful.
That was
That was the
Lynn
awful year.
Sanchez was on that year, and
yes.
you said you were going to do it, the garden, like back in April when it was beautiful, and you have to wait through the whole summer because it was in October, and her water bill was huge that year.
Yeah, that was
an awful
that
summer.
That was epic. That was an epic weather event, apocalyptic in Oklahoma. Okay, so but can we sometime, even if it's in the fall, can we come back? She's got a fabulous, really interesting backyard.
Totally. And I'm to your design aesthetic. I try to cut flowers from my garden all the time to have at my house.
I love that.
Inside, and I did a lot of oregano. It's so cute on a window.
I know.
Ledge,
It's just so sweet. So now sometimes this is a funny thing I have. I do what I call a hiccup. When I want something to stand up a little bit taller, I call it a hiccup.
Okay.
Because I want it to kind of. Now this is where I run into problems, and I wish I did have a little bit of oasis because sometimes it doesn't always cooperate with me.
That's because of the diameter
problem.
of your container is open.
Yeah.
It will shift in here. That's where the poultry netting comes in handy. That's where the oasis comes in handy.
Right. But for this one, since we're just going up the street, we're not moving it real far.
Yeah, you're
I cannot tell you guys how delicious this smells. So right now we have, I feel like we've got lots of delicate ferny stuff, and part of me wants to
geranium in here.
Yeah, some stuff in here that is a little bit more.
I'm saving your dill for your fish tonight.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
It is Friday after all.
To kind of spill out over the edge. I don't know, because I like things that are solid leafed against the texture.
I see what you're saying.
Okay, so if
don't want all the same size.
That's fun. We need to use that oregano right
yes,
there.
and
That oregano bloom.
About to.
So at what point then do we start putting in?
What?
I can't. You know why I can't go there?
Why?
Because there is no yellow at Bradford House. But that does look very pretty there.
What about in the lemon garnishes for the water?
Oh, you're right. There is. No, seriously, this is so stupid, but this is how my brain works. We're having lemon drop martinis.
Well,
and there's going to be,
Linda.
Okay. So see, it has to tell the story. It has to tell the story. And you're right. See how it filled in, and will also provide support for my things that want to.
Yes, because a lot of times when you start building your stems, you want to make a grid.
Yeah, make a grid.
Make a tangled grid with your stems.
Yes,
so,
underneath.
Yeah.
Yes.
Keep moving around so it's like a gnarl of pickup sticks.
Yes, yes. It reminds me of every scary movie I ever saw where somebody was underwater and they got tangled up in a fishnet or something and they couldn't make it to the surface.
Oh, now I'm thinking of dolphins. That's sad.
I know, that's sad. Okay, I shouldn't have gone there. I always have to go to the dark side. Now, something else that I want. Okay. Now something else. I have to have some of your allium.
This is called curly garlic.
Okay. I love curly garlic.
I love it too.
That.
And then that was the Siculum allium. This is stuff right now, I hate to say it, it's all coming from Holland.
Okay, so you know what? I want this all to be indigenous, kind of, sort of. So let's
all right, so the bullet allium
let's
is
go with
indigenous.
the bullet allium, yes.
Oh, look how pretty that is. But we're not
No,
going to do it.
what, that also came from there?
Yeah, I did. I got an alliums in.
Well, you know what? As a nod to, I still have to have some of these.
And
because it's edible. Because it's kind of an edible.
I mean, look at that.
I know. Oh,
yeah, this one's great.
Yeah,
a lot of alliums coming out of Japan too.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, we do try to. Are you familiar with the slow flowers movement?
Oh, tell me about it.
Slow flower movement is by. Oh gosh, of course, as soon as I would know her, Diane. I could. If you hadn't asked me,
I'm sorry.
I could tell you. But there's a book called Slow Flowers and the Slow Flower Movement.
Okay.
Where you really try to use flowers that are within a certain radius and cut flowers, which I know you do mostly.
We try to. We try to.
You really try to. And because it also supports the local community.
Which is very important.
And local
flowers
growers
that are in season, they look better, they're bigger, they're fatter, they last longer.
Yes.
It's difficult trying to get something in that's out of season. We can do it, it's growing somewhere, but the expense and the quality is.
Well, the other thing is, it's a matter of pragmatics too. You're a business, and we're in Oklahoma where cut flowers, after a while, when it gets really, really hot, are not as easy to come by as they would be in California.
Yes.
But you guys, I'm going to put a link to the book Slow Flowers below because it is just a wonderful, and I can't believe, I feel horrible that I cannot remember her name, but it's because I'm getting old. So, but I will put a link to her wonderful
Stuart in
book.
editing can do something and it'll be a voiceover here that'll say it like a ventriloquist.
Yes. Stuart makes us look good, don't you, Stuart? Okay, now I'm feeling like I need one other deep. Ooh, I love that. That was one of the pivotal. Every once in a while, you put something in that really does it. That says, ooh, that might be it. And I have to have 3 of things like that.
You do. Are you odd numbers all the way across the board?
It's the garden designer in me.
Really?
Oh yes, I find things in 3s more visually appealing, more stable, more whatever.
This is going to kill you.
It is going to kill me, and since this is your design, I'm just going to go with it.
We have a lot of people that say you're supposed to do things in odd numbers, but I'm like, okay, if you like odd numbers, do it. If you like even numbers, do it. So I think even is stability.
But you know what? That just goes to show you do what speaks to you.
Exactly.
And a lot of times it is completely subjective of what's beautiful and what's not beautiful. And does this make me like a little bit OCD?
Yes, it does.
It kind of does make me a little bit OCD. So we're going to take that out. Okay. Wait, we haven't used any of this yet, have we?
Stick it in.
Okay,
it smells great.
This is just incredible. One of these days, I'm gonna.
It smells like if mint were a cleaning product more so than
it
edible
does.
to me.
And it almost smells like a cross between eucalyptus and mint.
Yeah, it's a astringency.
Yes, it is. But I love the scent of it. So I just. Really, really liking that. Okay. Now, I do think we need one other pop of intense color here.
Well, the bee balm's local. And I have never seen this before. Red coneflower. That's new to me.
There is a variety, I think it's called like Sunset or something. Mm-hmm. Now, do we like this?
I do not.
I do not either. I think it looks not harmonious, and
But I don't mind the Monarda as much.
But this doesn't look like it has the same baseline hues, maybe because this orange is coming in. Let's see.
It's not my favorite.
Okay, let's add some of the white coneflower because that's very Oklahoma, I think.
Here you go.
Okay, but we do need one other pop of color, but let me, okay, you know why this works and the other didn't?
Why?
Okay, this is one of my favorite things in the world, our color echoes. Look at the purple.
Okay, yes.
See, look at the purple inside there. And so because this has an
That's
undertone of purple and that undertone is orange.
This is orange.
That's why this works and that doesn't. So definitely let's put in, and you know what? Maybe, I think I don't want these now. Maybe I want just 2 of them. I will go with odd numbers or even numbers on this. To every rule, there is an exception.
Isn't that the truth?
So this is a fun fact that you may already know. I just did, oh my gosh, there's an incredible gardener in Denmark. His name is Klaus Dalby. His gardens are just off the charts. They're unbelievable. He's the Martha Stewart kind of
Denmark.
And I did
Martha Dalby is what
Martha
you're saying?
Dalby, and I did an Instagram live with him last week.
Oh, that's cool.
And he was talking about, and I did not know this, and I still need to follow up on it. That Karen Blixen from out of Africa, that Baron von Blixen, they would make huge and wonderful flower arrangements. Well, and that there's some books and stuff out there on it. And I who knew? That's just a whole nother dimension to that whole romantic notion of out of Africa.
Out of Africa.
And everything.
Well, gardening is romantic. Strolling through a garden, and then like the sensuousness of the flowers, and growing your food. I mean,
it's
anybody who's anybody should be a gardener.
I would agree. I mean,
and it doesn't have to be elaborate. Start off with something small.
Yeah, to live a full, rich life. Okay, could we have maybe 1 more Monarda or 2 more Monardas?
Here's 2 more Monardas.
Okay, we've got 2 more Monardas because
I just like that name.
I love the name of Monarda. Now I do not grow it, but it's a wonderful pollinator. And what is its botanical name?
Oh, I thought it was Monarda.
Maybe
Bee balm.
Bee balm. Bee balm. That's right. Okay. Bee balm. So.
Okay. I'm holding myself back, but I think you need Aromaris.
Can I go there or not? I don't know. I don't know. Okay. I cannot go there, but I can go here because this looks more, this just to me screams that this did not come from my garden.
No,
as exotic as it is, it screams, I did not.
It did not come.
Which of these?
Dee's agreeing with you.
Which of these is not like the other? Okay, I'm sorry.
You're right.
But I think
I'm going to go with your colorscaping.
No, but I definitely
because it matches the coneflower.
I know
so
it
nicely.
did, but I didn't allow that coneflower because of the orange. But I allowed these. So
let's 86 it.
Okay, let's 86 this. However, is this not? But before we move on, is that not brilliant?
It's pretty together.
Is that not absolutely brilliant? This in the fall, and what I love about flowers is I would use just the seed heads, just the pods without, and sometimes I even take off the petals.
Of course, and then they get dark. It's good for fall and Halloween arrangements.
Absolutely. But you know what? I do think we need some of those. So I will put this guy back. I'm sorry, it is not your time. I don't want to hurt its feelings.
Well, I appreciate that you're telling them he's going to be good in something else.
So now that I have consumed most of your morning, my friend, what she is going to do for me, because she loves me, is that she is going to compose. I have this thing, Chris, in the garden when I'm doing container arrangements, that I say I like to have a papa bear, a mama bear, and then multiple baby bears.
Oh, that's cute.
Now, in this case, this is just, since it's a girls only shower, it's just going to be Mama Bear and a bunch of baby bears.
Okay.
And you are going to put together my baby bears for me, and you're going to keep them in your cooler because that's another key to longevity.
Cool spaces. Cool. You would think flowers like the sun in the ground, they think they do, but as cut flowers, you've got to keep them away from windows and hot spaces.
Yeah, so don't, as much as you want to showcase it in that sunny window, you probably don't want to do that.
If you're expecting it to last a long time.
Last a long time.
If it's just for one party, I say go for it.
Now, this is one of those intuitive things that I'm embarrassed that I didn't think of until just now, but we were talking about, so if you want this to last and you need to change the water, what is the best and easiest way to do that? And basically you said go like this.
You grab it
and then and pour it out. But this is this is one of these aha moments that's so stupid. If you had two people, one person could just lift it and the other person could clean out the vase, wash out the vase, put fresh water in it, and it would and then you would get it back approximately in its original composition. And that is something, because I'm so impatient. I'm always trying to do things on my own, and so sometimes you just need to wait and get a little bit of
It's okay to have a little bit of help.
So we might end on that note that sometimes it's nice to have help from your friends.
Here, you want to lift, and I will get fresh water for you.
Well, we already have fresh water in it, so we're not going to do that right now. However, I am going to let you spritz it with some of that magic spray.
Crowning glory, yes, the moisturizer.
Yes, the moisturizer, which if I can find some, it's kind of like wilt-proof, I guess, for cut flowers. And then she is going to do the little.
We call this Mountain Dew.
Mountain Dew, because
and it confuses people.
Dewish.
Yes, like you just cut it in the morning.
Yeah, and it's got the Mountain Dew on it, which again is another reference to
it's not real
Colorado
Mountain Dew.
and Beaver Creek, Colorado, where they're getting married. So you're going to do the baby bears for me. I'm going to come back tomorrow morning and pick these up after they have conditioned and overnight in your refrigerator, and I will show you guys pictures of what they look like when they are in situ at the Bradford house. It's such a fun place.
It really is.
Thank you. This made a special event for me even more special.
Oh, well, thank you, Linda. We appreciate it. We love having you as a neighbor.
Okay, guys, we'll see you soon. Bye.